More truth about the out-of-control Charlotte County, Florida, Sheriff Bill Prummell and his out-of-control military police state, where everything is illegal and you are not free. When I grew up in Michigan in the 80s, we were still free, but this is not freedom anymore. This is pure tyranny. Our founding fathers would be ashamed how our youth are being treated now. They are also doing heavy indoctrination in the schools that the police state is the way. They are not teaching that the Constitution and the founding fathers fought for freedom, not this tyranny. With harsh police tactics, no paradise for teens. I've lived in Charlotte County my entire life. My parents moved our family to Punta Gorda to escape the noise and posh of Naples. It's no secret why many magazines declare our little slice of paradise a hot spot to retire. Our climate, beautiful harbor and low crime rate were just as attractive to my parents in the 1990s as they always have been to retirees. Many of my peers in high school lamented their parents' choice to raise them here and how boring it was to grow up in Port Charlotte, but I've never viewed it that way. I have never felt threatened by any criminal in Port Charlotte, but ironically, I've felt threatened multiple times by the people who directly fight crime, the police. I'm not a delinquent kid and I've never been arrested. I'm not alluding to the racially charged national debate about police shootings, and this isn't a story about how all cops are bad people. This is about our local law enforcement unnecessarily harassing, intimidating and threatening hundreds of teenagers each year. It is the only thing that makes me, an honors graduate of Port Charlotte High School, ashamed to call Charlotte County my home. I hope the anecdotes I share here awaken our town to this travesty of our legal system by those who swear to uphold it. From a young age, I was told by authority figures that police officers were there to protect me and my family. Their trustworthiness, professionalism and benevolent intentions were never questioned, because they epitomized those traits. My first personal interaction with police officers was the annual safety day at my elementary school, Charlotte Academy. We all loved it. I even remember a funny picture being taken of a classmate jokingly being arrested. That was the end of the laughs and good times with police officers. Since then, none of my interactions with them have been positive, starting when I was just 14 years old. I was out with two of my friends fishing underneath the Punta Gorda Bridge in my friend's flat's boat when a COPWATCH boat pulled up next to us. Without explaining why, the officer put his lights on and attached his boat to ours and immediately began suspiciously questioning us. "Do you have any illegal drugs or alcohol on board?" I couldn't have even named an illicit drug for the officer. But that didn't stop him from boarding our boat, without asking for consent, and checking every cooler and crevice of the boat. All the work the sheriff's office had put into appearing trustworthy and helpful to me as a kid through Safety Day was completely unraveled by just a single interaction with the police. At 14 years old, I realized Safety Day was completely withdrawn from the reality I'd face as a teenager. That man could have been the same smiling officer who just a few years before had proudly shown me his patrol car. What a difference a few years of age made in the eyes of our law enforcement. My second defining moment was at a small house party my senior year. The police knocked on the door and I was the one to talk to them. They seemed extremely reasonable. They didn't care about the music or the party. They said they were simply concerned about some cars parked in the street. I was shocked by their cordiality and gathered the party to let them know the only issue was with parking, and not to move their own cars if they'd had anything to drink. Before I could even finish, though, the police had come back to the door. I immediately sensed something had changed. Their smiles and kind words were replaced with glib grins and caustic comments. "You're the youngest lawyer we've ever encountered," was their sneering response when I politely denied them entrance to the property. They were clearly trying to rile me up with their sarcasm, and that's when I realized they were never okay with the party. They had attempted to lure teenagers who they suspected of drinking into driving. I have no doubt these two officers were willing to put the lives of kids, smart, successful kids who would never drink and drive, into jeopardy so they could get a few extra arrests under their belt that night. There's another word for what they attempted to do that night: entrapment. By every societal definition, my peers and I were good kids in high school. We received excellent marks in advanced classes, as well as on college placement tests. We competed on the Model UN team and volunteered our time for the community through National Honor Society. We were leaders in high school. Yet every one of my friends has similar stories, and some are far worse. These stories happened to me. They happened to me, and I guarantee it's happening to your friends' children and grandchildren. These are good kids and they're being harassed continually. My friends have been improperly searched and detained as minors, and physically and verbally threatened by officers from a department that lists professionalism, integrity and trust as its core values. I know Charlotte County's civil and business leaders want the best and brightest of our area to return and better the community, but we never will while we know the police are still acting as bullies rather than protectors. I am currently a student at the University of Florida, and the relationship between the students and the campus police is antithetical to the relationship between our local teens and police. Why can't our law enforcement strive for the kind of positive relationship with Charlotte County's youth that UF's campus police built with the student body? It's not an impossible feat, but it will certainly take commitment from our community and our law enforcement's leadership to change this toxic relationship. I might not live in the area for most of the year any longer, but, as I said, it's my home and it always will be. I hope this column finally draws attention to the one area of life in Port Charlotte that doesn't fit in with the personality of our laid-back, tropical paradise. It's my dream that the same community values that first attracted my family to Charlotte County can bring our town together to solve this social injustice just like that, together. Ethan Katz is a 2016 graduate of Port Charlotte High School and in his freshman year at the University of Florida. Guest columnist. Ethan Katz.
Hey Sheriff, we have a question about why your office, your intelligence division, is investigating private citizens for criminal investigation that happen to be activists that are overseeing your department. Why would you have your intelligence division investigate private citizens? We have done... Sir, we don't hate anyone. We love freedom and we love American people. And government is out of control. That's why you're seeing such a revolt nationwide. Why can't you just answer, why is Susan Edwards, your intelligence division, investigating private citizens? This should not happen.
Are you here to apply for a job?
Possibly I might be applying for a job, but that's irrelevant to my question. Why would you ask that question?
Well, enjoy the fair.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Excuse you?
Excuse me, sir.
So those of you that haven't
Wow.
been on a bike before, we're
Sheriff's
just doing
getting a
now
little too pushy.
is
You
the
work
hard
for
part.
us, Sheriff.
And
Just keep that in mind. At one time, we respected you, but not with that type of attitude.